Chapter 4. Urgent DSIRES. The days that follow drag on with torturous slowness. I try to focus on reading for my dissertation, but my mind insists on returning to that alley, to the touch of Pedro's hands, to the taste of his lips. I've never been like this, distracted, obsessed, unable to maintain the academic focus that has always defined me. Monday finally arrives. I wake up before the alarm, nervous like a teenager. I choose my clothes with more care than usual, a denim skirt that flatters my legs, a navy blue button-up blouse that fits perfectly to my body, leaving just enough to the imagination. I tie my hair in a high ponytail, apply a subtle lipstick. The morning drags on. I have contemporary critical theory class, but I barely absorb the professor's words. The ceiling fans spin lazily, insufficient against the heat that intensifies as the morning progresses. I draw abstract patterns in my notebook, occasionally jotting something down to keep up appearances. The clock on the wall seems frozen. When the bell finally rings, I'm the first one out of the room. I have 2 hours until our scheduled meeting, but I can't concentrate on anything else. I go to the campus cafeteria, order a strong coffee, and sit in a corner, trying to read Gibson's Neuromancer. A deliberate choice, something that will give us something to talk about, something that connects our fields. At 2:30 p.m., I can't wait any longer. I decide to go to the library before our agreed time. The short walk under the intense sun causes a thin layer of sweat to form on my forehead. I climb the marble stairs, feeling the weight of the place's history, the generations of students who passed through there with their own desires and anxieties. And then I see him. Pedro is already there, distractedly browsing books in the science fiction section. My heart accelerates ridiculously, my mouth suddenly dry. He has his back to me, wearing jeans and a simple gray shirt. I observe for a moment how he carefully examines the spines, like an archaeologist before precious artifacts. "You arrived early," I say, approaching. He turns, an immediate smile transforming his face. "I couldn't wait." There's a disarming honesty in his words. No game, no pretense, just the raw truth that mirrors exactly how I feel. "Neither could I admit, breaking my own rule of never showing all my cards. There's a moment of tense silence, laden with possibilities. The old air conditioning in the library hums in the background, creating a bubble of coolness and privacy between the tall shelves. "I couldn't stop thinking about you," he says quietly, respecting the library's silence. "Me neither about you." I take a step forward, feeling the subtle scent of his cologne. "Pedro, I have the key to the student union room. I'm organizing a literary event and nobody uses the room on Mondays." He immediately understands the subtext. His eyes darken slightly, pupils dilating. "Are you sure?" I appreciate the question, the implicit concern, the respect. "Absolutely." We leave the library side by side, maintaining a respectable distance, but the electricity between us is almost palpable. We cross the campus in silence, occasionally exchanging glances that say more than words. The student union room is on the top floor of one of the oldest buildings. It's a spacious area with worn sofas, bookshelves, a small kitchenette, and a meeting table. The high windows offer a privileged view of the campus, but today I'm not interested in the landscape. I unlock the door, my heart beating so hard that I'm sure he can hear it. The place is stuffy from the heat accumulated all day. We enter and I close the door behind us, turning the key in the lock. We stand still for a moment, the silence of the place enveloping us. It's a different silence from that of the library, not reverent, but expectant, like the air before a storm. "Sofia," he begins, but I don't let him finish. My lips find his with urgency, resuming from where we left off on Friday. His hands find my waist, pulling me against him. We walk blindly, without separating our lips until my back finds the wall. I spent the entire weekend thinking about this, I whisper between kisses. Me too, he responds, his voice hoarse with desire. My hands explore his chest over his shirt, feeling the tense muscles beneath the fabric, the heat of his skin coming through the cotton. He kisses my neck, sending a shiver down my entire spine. The sofa, I murmur, indicating the large leather sofa in the corner of the room. He leads me there, our bodies still intertwined. We sit, and soon I'm on his lap, his lips on my neck, descending. I want you too. I hesitate for a second, then decide to be direct. I want you to touch my breasts. His eyes fix on mine, asking for confirmation. I nod slightly. With surprisingly agile fingers for a programmer, he begins to unbutton my blouse, exposing the dark blue lace bra that I chose specifically for this occasion. Soon I feel his lips exploring my exposed skin, while his hands roam my body with a mix of hesitation and determination. He doesn't seem very experienced, but there's an intensity in his movements that compensates for any lack of technique. I decide to guide him, leading his hands where I desire to feel them. Time seems suspended as we discover each other. The silent room amplifies every sigh, every movement on the old leather sofa. Each touch awakens new sensations that make me arch against him. His caresses become more confident as I respond to his stimuli. My entire body trembles with desire. When his mouth descends further, tracing a path of kisses across my stomach, he looks at me, a silent question in his eyes. Please, I whisper, guiding him to territories that yearn for his exploration. The way his tongue touches my skin reminds me of a particular delicacy, bringing forth memories I had kept of myself. It's great, but these memories distract me a bit from the present moment, my mind briefly wandering to another time, another touch. Pedro proves to be an excellent observer. Noticing that I'm a little out of the mood, he begins to make more intense movements, his determination anchoring me back to the present. Soon I'm completely involved again, and all that matters is feeling his hands caressing me and his tongue on my most sensitive parts. Pleasure consumes me until I can no longer contain the sounds that escape my lips. My entire body trembles under his touches, waves of heat passing through me. When I finally catch my breath, I open my eyes to find him watching me with a mixture of desire and admiration. Do you have a condom? I ask, my voice still shaky. He shakes his head. No, I didn't expect that. It's okay, I say, gently pushing him back against the sofa. My turn. I slide to the floor in front of him, my hands working on his belt. His eyes widen slightly. You don't have to. I want to, I interrupt, determined. My fingers find the fabric of his pants, tracing the outline of his evident desire. His eyes close, head thrown back in anticipation. There's something deeply exciting about seeing him like this, vulnerable, surrendered to the sensations that only I can provide. I free him from his clothes with slow and deliberate movements, savoring each sigh, each tremor that runs through his body. When I finally have him before me, I take a moment to admire him, his masculine beauty in its purest form, his vulnerability mixed with desire. I lean forward, my hair falling like curtains around my face. I begin with soft touches, exploring him with delicacy and curiosity. His hands find my hair, fingers tangling in the strands with a gentleness that contrasts with the intensity of the moment. Sophia, my name escapes his lips like a prayer. I trace circles with my tongue, teasing him until I feel his body tense like a violin string. I explore him with dedication and intensity, discovering what makes him react more intensely. The moan that escapes his lips is almost primitive. There's a power in this moment. Each movement of mine causes a visceral reaction in him. I establish a slow, torturous rhythm, alternating between soft and more intense caresses. His hands in my hair guide me, silently communicating what gives him more pleasure. It's an intimate dance, a conversation without words. I can feel when he approaches the limit, the tension in his body, the broken breathing, the way he pronounces my name with growing urgency. I intensify my movements, determined to bring him to ecstasy. "Sophia, I'm going to." He tries to warn, but I don't move away. When the climax hits him, I keep him enveloped in my lips, accepting everything he has to offer. His eyes meet mine, vulnerable and grateful. Something communicates between us that goes beyond the physical, a connection that even I, with all my literary vocabulary, couldn't adequately define. Afterward, we recline on the sofa, my body nestled against his, our breathing gradually returning to normal. The afternoon slowly advances, rays of sunlight entering through the high windows, creating golden patterns on the ancient wooden floor. A comfortable silence settles between us. "That was," he begins. "Unexpected," I suggest. "Amazing," he corrects, kissing the top of my head. I look at the clock on the wall and sigh. I have class in 20 minutes. "Me too," he says, reluctant to move. Slowly, we start to get dressed, adjusting clothes, fixing hair. There's a new intimacy between us, a complicity that goes beyond the physical. "When can I see you again?" he asks as we walk to the door. I smile, feeling a renewed confidence. "How about tonight?" His eyes widen slightly. "Tonight." "Unless you have other plans," I say, feigning casualness while my heart races. No plans. I just didn't expect." "Neither did I confess. But I can't stop thinking about you, about us." The ceiling fan spins lazily above our heads, spreading the warm air in the room. Outside, the campus continues its routine, oblivious to what just happened between these walls. We leave the room separately. First me, then him, a few minutes later. An unnecessary precaution, perhaps, but one that adds an element of secrecy that makes everything even more exciting.